Hello, BookTube. It's my birthday today. I'm 22, I know. And I thought I'd do something a bit different today. And I thought I'd go through some of my favorite albums, just as something a bit different. If you want to get the full Andrew, you could be reading more experience. Feel free to chuck any of these albums on while you're going for a walk, or while you're reading, or while you're going to sleep. Do whatever. But these are just some of my favorite albums. This was brutal to make. It took a long, long time, and there's 10 listed here, but I added a lot more as like bonuses and whatever. And so anyway, let's get started. I literally just put all these CDs and one record on my desk, and I literally have no clue where to find any. So literally, give me a sec. But honorable mentions, and there are a lot. So number honorable mentions first. I don't know if I'm saying number, but Lambert, Hendrix, and Ross, the hottest vocal group in jazz, new jazz or whatever. This album in particular is one of my favorite vocal jazz albums. Anne Ross's voice is amazing. I love the standards they do. I was addicted to this album at one point. The opening Charleston Alley is so iconic. They do a cover of Moanin', of course. Twisted, which was later done by Joni Mitchell. Cloudburst is iconic, extremely fast. Give Me That Wine, I love. Sermonette's lovely as well, but this would be a close honor up for me, but lovely album if you haven't heard it. And then who else is next? We'll go with some. Did I put? Oh my god, this is not planned at all. Okay. Next we have Sinatra, and we have here Only the Lonely, of course, and In the Wee Small Hours of the Morning. I love Sinatra when he's a bit more slower. Like, I would always say my favorite of him is Where Are You? That album's very lovely, even though it doesn't have Nelson Riddle on it. But I love slow Sinatra. It just makes me feel at home. He's very sweet, and his voice just melts me in a way that no other man can. And then we have, I pull these down here. This is Bobby Gentry. This is her complete recordings, her box set, and I'll show you what she looks like. But I've always adored Bobby Gentry. Here she is. You may know her. She had a massive hit in '67 called Ode to Billy Joe, which was very famous. It knocked Sergeant Pepper's off the top of the spot for a while. And then she wrote a song called Fancy, which was later covered by Reba McEntire, and even then, Reba took out a verse suspiciously. But Bobby, she's one of my favorites ever. I love her to death. I love all of her albums. Her duet album with Glenn Campbell is so iconic. Their version of Let It Be Me, I can't even. It's so gorgeous. But her albums like Touch 'Em With Love, which is her doing more of a Blue Eyed Soul, because normally she sticks to country. But her album, The Delta Sweetie, of course, The Delta Sweetie is obviously an iconic classic. So Bobby Gentry didn't make the list, but as a guitar player too, she is amazing. She uses a lot of diminished chords, which is something I don't see a lot of country artists do. So we have that. Then we have, I don't own this one, but Cigarettes and Truck Stops by Lindy Ortega. A great indie country album from the 2010s. It's very like atmospheric and like dusty. It's very cool. And if you haven't heard that, please do. And then we have a, a lot more honorable mentions. But next, we have Dirt by Alice in Chains. I love Alice in Chains. They're literally probably one of my favorite rock bands ever. They're probably one of the only ones I still listen to. But iconic album. It's probably the reason I'll never do heroin. Like, the way they talk about it here is amazing. What I need to say to Alice in Chains, I love Facelift. I love Sap, of course, Jar of Flies, and even the self-titled I've been jamming to, 'cause it's a bit more alternative and a bit more heavy. But I love Alice in Chains. What I need to say, I don't like the new the last albums I did without Lane, but the original can't be beat. And then, so we're nearly done with honorable mentions, but we have a very controversial one, and I love this album to death. Whenever I put it on, I just feel, full and raged and powered. And that's Live Through This by Hole. I know people hate Courtney Love, and she's her greatest enemy, but I don't care. This album, the Indians, just everything that went on during it at the same time, with Kurt, and just her processing fame, And I think this album gets overshadowed because of what happened before and definitely what happened after this album came out. But my god, whenever I hear Plump or Violet or She Walks on Me, I Think I Would Die, iconic. This is probably one of my favorite grunge albums. But I love Hole. 3 albums, you can't go wrong pretty much. You got Pretty on the Inside, their debut, which is more noise rock. And then you have this, and then you have Celebrity Skin, which shouldn't really work because it's them really going pop, and it just works. And I never thought I'd say that about Courtney, but as a front woman, she's amazing. I think she's easily up there with my favorite grunge singers, easily, even though she may not be the best live. And then last honorable mention, if I can find them, we have some Australian music here. We have 2 albums by the same group. This is Rattlin' Bones by Casey Chambers and Shane Nicholson, and their second album together, Wreck and Ruin, of course. These 2 albums, Casey Chambers is one of the biggest homegrown acts we have here in Australia. She's country, she's iconic. I have all of her albums. But these 2 albums she done with her husband at the time, Shane Nicholson, and they went into bluegrass together, and their vocals are so iconic. Like, if you take any way from this video, please listen to at least the first song, the title track of Rattlin' Bones, and I can't. It's so iconic. I pretty much listen to like these albums like nearly every day. I know that's insane, but I just can't not. Is there anything else that didn't make the list? Oh yes, there's one more that didn't make the list, and that's my man Tony Bennett and Bill Evans. It's Tony Bennett and Bill Evans. What do I need to say? Tony is one of my favorite singers ever. This album does the best vocally, that shows off his chops more than any other album he's really done, except maybe his live stuff. But yeah, it's Tony Bennett and Bill Evans. I even have their second album they done together on CD as well. But so that's honorable mentions. And so this top 10 list was brutal because look at what didn't make it. But anyway, let's get started. Number 10, where is it? Ooh, underrated here is The Man That Sold the World by David Bowie. And everyone talks about Ziggy, everyone talks about Hunky Dory, station to station and all that. But I love The Man Who Sold the World. This is Bowie doing like nearly metal. Like, some of this nearly comes off as like Deep Purple, and Deep Purple didn't even make this list, and I love Deep Purple. But yeah, this is Bowie really doing like some really heavy stuff for 1970, 71-ish. But yeah, All the Madman's a bop. Running Gun Blues, Save Your Machine, She Shook Me Cold, of course, is iconic. Then you got the underrated gem of The Man Who Sold the World, which for me will always be Bowie's song. I never liked the Nirvana version. I'm not big on Nirvana, if I'm being a bit honest. I've always just preferred Alice in Chains. But anyway, number 10, The Man Who Sold the World. It's Bowie doing apocalyptic, like metal, and I just never thought he would do it. Like, it's weird, but even the cover's iconic. Him with the dress. And yeah, so that's number 10. Number 9, and we have probably again one of my favorite singers ever, Shadows and Light by Joni Mitchell. I'm a massive Joni Mitchell fan. I love nearly everything she's ever done. Some of her latest stuff can be a bit hit and miss for me personally, but my god, I love her folk stuff. I love her middle period when she was doing more like AM rock pretty much, and then when she went fusion jazz, oh my god, I can't even. And this live album, she doesn't do much of her big hits that you know her for, but my god, it's insane. I always forget who's playing on this, but it's literally all the great fusion players of that era. Pat Metheny's here, of course, Michael Brecker, Don Elias, Jaco Pastorius, and Lionel Mays, of course, is on here. And Joni, she pulls them all together, and it's just one of my favorite live albums ever. I love The Dry Cleaner from Des Moines, one of the great fusion songs. In France, I Kiss on Main Street, it's very lovely. Amelia, this version of Amelia is so iconic. Hijira, of course. And yeah, it's very lovely. I always think this is to cap off Joni's fusion era, because she went on to make an album with Mingus, of course. But for me, this is I could have picked Hijira or Don Ron's Reckless Daughter, but I picked her live album because it's so lovely and iconic. So who's next? Number 8 is, where is it? Another underrated album that no one, I don't think it gets overshadowed by a lot, but that's I've got Home Old Cosmic Blues Again Mama by Janis Joplin. I'll show you the outs without the plastic so you can get a better look. But here it is there. And everyone talks about Janis. Janis is probably, for the longest time, and probably still is my all-time favorite singer. I grew up listening to her. She was the first artist I really fell in love with. And this is not talked about as much because it gets overshadowed. So the little album that came out before this was her last album with Big Brother and Holding Company, which was her band she started off with, and that was the iconic Cheap Thrills, 60s hippie rock and all that. And it's fine, I like it. But and when this gets overshadowed because Janis was making the follow up to this album when she died, and that obviously is Pearl, which has all her big hits on it. But this is Janis doing blue-eyed soul music. Like, this is barely a rock album. The only thing that really makes this a rock album is that there is guitar solo still, but outside of it, it's horns. It's just so iconic. Try is iconic. There's a 12 more of a 12-bar bluesy thing on One Good Man, and I love that she gives the band in here time to play and all that. Like, she really doesn't take up all the space here. Yeah, on the song As Good As You've Been to This World, which literally is like 3 minutes at the start with just the band. But my god, the last three songs are so beautiful. Cosmic Blues, which she wrote herself, and probably my favorite version ever of Little Girl Blue. And if you know Janis's life and everything she went through as a young person, it hits a bit harder because she wasn't she was bullied a lot, and as you can wiki it and just see what she went through. And her version of Work Me Lord to end the album is amazing. It's one of her best vocal performances, and Janis put everything in she had into this album, and it gets overshadowed, and it didn't do well at the time because I think people wanted a rock album from her and they got a soul album instead. But this is one of my favorites. I put this on and I feel young, and I love this album to death. So we have that. Next we have one of the great debuts of the last, I think 10 years or so. I don't own it physically, but Traveling Mercies by Emily Scott Robinson. What do I need to say? One of the greatest songwriters working right now in country. I can't even begin to describe it. I remember listening to the song The Dress, and I was shook. I was literally stunned, and it's a very intense song about sexual abuse, and I didn't expect that at all. But the album is so lovely, it flows together so well. It's literally one of my favorite album debuts ever, and there's a couple debuts here. And Traveling Mercies is again one of the great singer-songwriter albums, at least that I've heard in the last while. And then number 6, this is one of my favorites. I keep saying that, but number 6, I don't own this, I know it's a crime, but Indestructible Machine by Lydia Lovelace. And this was her debut, and this is country rock pretty much. It's like cowpunk. It's very aggressive at some points with songs like Do Right and all that. More Like Them. And I grew up with Lydia Lovelace. I love the majority of her albums, and it's what Indestructible Machine. It's not her best. I still think Real is, but Indestructible Machine was an album that I listened to as a teen and a tween, and I was like, this is so like chaotic, and maybe it's me. And when you listen to it, and especially someone's in their early 20s, I think, oh, this is a bit too close and a bit too relatable at times, and that's what makes it hit home a bit more. But I love Indestructible Machine. I've pretty much relate to everything that Lydia was going through on that album. I feel like it's at some cases, except for maybe like Steve Earle, that song. But one of my favorite albums ever. I don't own it physically, but please check it out because it is a very lovely album. Number 5. We're halfway through this list already. And next is an album that I remember when it came out, but I didn't check it out at the time, and I'm glad I didn't because I think I was too young. I was probably 15, 16 when it came out, but I didn't check it till I was like 19, and I have it on record actually, and that's Caligula by Lingua Ignota. This is one of the most powerful albums I've ever heard. Truly, I think she's one of the great metal screamers ever. Not even metal, it's experimental. I really don't have a genre for this. If you want to get a feel for this album, the iconic opener, "How Do You Doubt Me, Traitor," is one of the greatest vocal performances I've ever heard. But the entire album is just her. Again, do a bit of Wikipedia looking about what Lydia went. Not Lydia, sorry. What Kristen went through making this album, because it all form the songs, and there's just some chilling songs on here. And I can't remember that song titles to save my life, but the one where she talks about Eileen Warren too, and it's just such an emotional album, and I listen to it. I love it to death. I don't know how many times I've listened to it. It's a long album, but yeah, Caligula is one of my all-time favorites. But I love everything she's done. Oh my god, I'm trying to remember names. "Let the Evil of His Own Lips Cover Him" is very lovely as well. "All Bitches Die." This obviously Sinner Get Ready, which was a bit more popular than Saved. She done under a different name, and I have that too. But so yeah, we have got Caligula. Next, I don't own this one again, and this one probably is one the oh my god, I just can't even. It's so good. "Preacher's Daughter" by Ethel Cain. This is if Lingua Ignota Caligula was like an alternative, like Gen Z girly, and again, do some wiki reading about the story of Preacher's Daughter. It's probably one of the most ambitious debut albums ever. It's an hour and 15 minutes, and it talks about, oh my god, Ethel, and how the character she talks about grows up, and I don't want to spoil it, but let's just say there's a lot of abuse in here, and it goes to the point of cannibalism, which is something that I've never heard, and it's amazing. It's so well produced. There's country in it. There's trumpets in here randomly. There's drone metal at times. Like, it is truly one of the most ambitiously great first albums I've literally ever heard. I can't even do it justice talking about it, but check it out if you haven't. It's again, do a bit of Wikipedia reading before you go into it. But so yeah, Preacher's Daughter, number 4. Number 3, we have probably again my favorite pop artist ever, and I have Kesha. And now I couldn't decide on what 2 Kesha albums to go with, because I just love her to death. But I'm picking Warrior and her album Gag Order, and so a bit different. But Warrior, again, do a bit of Wikipedia reading to see what's going on with Kesha and what was going on at the time, because both of these albums are influenced by all these small gag orders, but behind the scenes, what was going on really affected the making of Warrior, and also the lack of promotion and all of that. It really got, because you can tell this was an album that was meant to do massive numbers. Like, the amount of singles on here that should have been massive hits are insane. Like, obviously this says Die Young, that everyone knows, but oh my god, this is literally like if you got 2012 electronic like drops, like dubs, not in dubstep, but the real poppy sound of that time, and fused it with like literal rock. Like, Iggy Pop is literally on this album, the Strokes are on this album, and it is probably one of my favorite. I just can't get enough of this album. I literally listen to it all the time, and this is the one time I really would say getting the deluxe version of this album on streaming. The deluxe version is only available, but literally Gold Trans Am is one of Kesha's best songs ever. Same as Past Lives, which was going to be on her next album, Lip Show, which fortunately got cancelled, and for those who know, I don't think we'll ever get it. But anyway, we have Warrior, one of the great pop albums, I think. It's very dated at times, but my god, is it just pure fun. I love this album to death. And I also have Gag Order here. I could have gone Cannibal, of course, but this is Kesha. I literally don't know how to describe it. It is a psychedelic electronic folk album, and it is obviously the cover's a bit attention grabbing, and I love it to death. This is one of my favorite albums ever, and this is going Gag Order. Obviously, she was going through that during the making of this album, and a lot of very other personal things that have come out years after this album's come out, and it's very hard to listen to it, and it's just so raw and emotional, and it is truly, I think, one of the most bleakest albums I've ever listened to. Kesha in this album, she goes through ego death, and tries to rebuild herself as, you know, someone who's seen attention and fame gone past her as her career's been put on hold a lot of times. And it's just such an emotional album. It is one of those albums where if you don't know the context of what's going on in Gag Order, you're heading into a very nightmarish album. It is like Caligula if she made a pop album, but every song is so iconic. Obviously, The Acid, Fine Line, very angry songs. The Drama, of course, I love that song to death. Too Far Gone, about her breaking off her engagement, which is, oh, I can't even. And then ending the album on Happy and Hate Me Harder too. Oh my god, I can't even. They're so emotional. But if you're going to listen to Gag Order, please do just go through the wiki page and see what was going on at the time, because I think you'll need that context going in. So, number 2, we have Lorraine by Laurie McKenna, one of probably the greatest songwriter working today. Laurie McKenna is, I don't want to say it's she's literally Laurie McKenna. I picked Lorraine. I could have gone with The Bird and the Rifle, again, classic album. I could have gone with The Tree, or Unglamorous, or Bitter Town, or literally anything she's ever done. But I picked Lorraine. I have this beat up CD of it, and here she is on the back here. And I open it, and anyway, Lorraine. It's, I always see people compare it to A Crow Looked at Me by Mount Eerie, but for me this one just hits a bit harder. This is very deep in Laurie McKenna lore, but this is her struggling, pretty much just struggling as a woman in her 40s with kids, and just trying to find her self-esteem pretty much, and just what else, and processing her mum's death too. Laurie's mum died when she was very young, like I think 5 or so, and I think Laurie is processing this as she's now a parent, and is going through alleged alcoholism too, and just there's so many subtle. It's a very subtle album. The lyrics are just so gorgeous in here. You get a love song, it's a bit more rocky, and I love that. What else? I'm still down here. But yeah, it's Laurie processing being a parent, but also being like having a crisis at the same time. And yeah, there's songs about her mum and how Laurie wondered why she was named after her mum when she's struggling so hard as a mum and herself. And at the end, the album doesn't end on like a big revelation or anything. It's just Laurie continuing on with life and pushing through it. And the final song, Still Down Here, Laurie imagines her mum in heaven, and she tells her mum not to, look down because, and, not to worry about her because, enjoy. I can't even explain. I'm so sorry, but she's Laurie's to her mum being like, don't, have fun in heaven, but I'm also still down here, and going through the hardest time in my life, and it just hits so hard. Please, 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 please check out Lorraine by Laurie McKenna. You won't be let down. It's very subtle, but she's one of the great lyricists. This is such a heavy-hitting album for me. And number 1. So we've gone through a lot today, and any of these albums could be number 1 if I'm being a bit honest, but this is, if you ask me on the street what is my all-time favorite album, I have to go, and it's a bit unexpected, but for me, it's Bat Out of Hell by Meatloaf. I love this album to death. It's perfect. Like, I literally don't know what I mean to say. It's perfect. Like, it's so, not a single note, not a single idea is wasted or bad, or not even just meh. Like, Meatloaf delivers here as a vocalist. Jim Steinman, his songs are so iconic. And this is ultimate, like, theatre rock, pretty much. I know Debs at Raina Reed said that this is her Desert Island album, and if I was on a desert island and we were like connected, or like, I was like an island away from Debs, I would be swimming over and dancing to this album with her, because I cannot get enough of this album. It's perfect. I literally don't know what you want me to say again, but I love Meat. Not really love, but his next album, Dead Ringers, fine. But even Bad Out of Hell too, I love. there's some songs that it drags a bit bad out of hell too, but the original's truly one of the great albums ever. Well, it literally is, in terms of selling wise, and especially here in Australia, this is literally the biggest selling album in Australia, and that's actually insane. And I'm so happy for that. To be honest, we love this album to death over here. It's played a lot everywhere, and yeah, it's got one of the greatest guitar effects ever. With the song "Bad Out of Hell" with the motorcycle rev, because that's guitar, into the one of the greatest solos ever. You took the words right out of my mouth. What do you want me to say? It's so iconic. Heaven Can Wait. The ballads are so beautiful here. Heaven Can Wait's lovely. Two Out of Three Ain't Bad. And the deep cut here for Crying Out Loud. Oh my god. Again, if you love your rock with a bit of theatre in it, you already know this album. Like, literally. It's so iconic. Everyone knows it. But what am I going to say? It's my favourite album ever, pretty much. For now, at least. But yeah, that was a long video. And that was only like a handful of albums of some of my favorites. There's a lot that didn't make it, and maybe I should do a part two like next year or whatever. I literally don't know, but I've been ranting for a long time, and I just thought I'd let you know some of my favorite albums. Feel free to listen to some of these and let me know what you think of them. And yeah, thank you so much for watching BookTube, and I'll see you next time.